Yo, what is up guys, it's Fried Sushi here. In today's video, I'm going to be telling a trip report from Reddit again. It's going to be posted by Nacho489. The title is 6 tabs, 125 UG, in parentheses. So, that is a total of, let me calculate this, 750 micrograms total. So let me just jump right in. I'll do my best to put into words and try to be as descriptive as possible. Alright, so let's start with a little background. This was going to be one of my last trips for a very long time because I had been misusing psychedelics and had made the decision that I was going to start getting deeper into mastering my sober mind as well as becoming more read in the literature, possibly revisiting psychedelics with a newfound wisdom. Usually I don't have goals going into trips, I just accept what happens is what needed to happen, and everything will happen as it should. But this trip, given the circumstances, I went into the experience asking for guidance on which direction to take my life. I swallowed the tabs, drank some water, laid down, and closed my eyes. I watched everything form from nothing into a swirling, calm light show with visuals slowly manifesting and getting stronger during this time. I felt my mind/consciousness growing stronger, or you could say expanding. This all took place over a few hours. Nothing else too interesting happened during this time. I was just observing, allowing the experience to take over, soaking in as much as possible along the way. After a while of this, I became aware of these two entities. They were present from a viewing perspective. Definitely something higher or different than my own. At this time, all colors and visuals had faded, leaving my vision without nothing but light gray. The entities didn't have any form because they were somewhere I couldn't comprehend, but at the same time being everywhere. My guess is a higher dimension. It's important to note that I perceived these two entities as very, very accurate on the dot representations of two important people in my life. There's no way I can explain how I knew who they were, but I just knew it was as the truth. I will refer to these entities as they, them, their, etc., rather than their names for the sake of explanation. After a little while of me becoming aware of their presence, I could hear them communicating. I believe they allowed me to hear them. I would describe the communication they used as some form of telepathy, definitely no noise. The conversation went as followed. Should we show him? This teasing and joking went on with them repeating these as well as some similar but at the same general topic for a few moments. They were giggling in between conversations as if it was funny to them. I started to notice excitement was filling me and a smile had spread from ear to ear in anticipation of what was to come. Eyes still closed. This emotional description will add effect later. At this point, I was ready for them to show me and stop teasing around. I think they sensed it, because after a small period of time, they settled down and made their very last communication saying, "You're not going to believe this," said in a sense as if they were revealing a grand joke. The moment they said, "You won't believe this," a huge visual curtain was pulled away, and I was completely unaware of. This was all the gray I was seeing in sort of a cover that only they could manipulate. When they did this, I was revealed what I call the grand truth. In this moment, time stopped. All sense of flow stopped. All was silent at its truest silence. My previous emotions fled and were replaced with a feeling of multitudes of dumbfoundedness and unlimited amounts of WTF. This great moment of revelation can only be described as, pardon my language for a lack of better description, the biggest oh shit moment you can imagine. For example, appearing fully naked on America's Got Talent stage with a packed audience staring at you and just standing there, looking back, comprehending what's happening. This wasn't embarrassing nor scary, but this was the closest emotion I had to I can name it. It's like becoming aware of something you've lived your entire life being unaware of. Now that you've seen it, everything is falling into place, and you're finally understanding it all. Now onto the actual truth. The best way I can describe such truth is as follows. Everything I had ever known or experienced as a human was one big game, for lack of better terms. I was now in a space outside of time and a physical matter, looking at a layered sphere of light that contained all of my experiences. At the time, I perceived the ball of light as one big experiment / journey / game / reality that I created an infinite amount of time ago to escape being in the state that I was currently experiencing. It ran through my head that I had been tricking myself into lowering my awareness from the creator to the experiencer of the creators. When I took psychedelics and expanded my awareness to a place not close to where the reality was created, but far enough away from the very unaware state required to exist / experience inside it. I was never finally able to be revealed the truth by the entities. Once I had fully comprehended this truth, a fear like I had never experienced set in. At the time, it was just fear, but after the trip I understood it was the fear of being aware. Being aware that everything I had ever experienced I had created for myself, and that the universe was mental. This was the start of my sanity fading, the jolt of fear that fled through my body after I truly understand and comprehended the truth forced my eyes open. That began the 5 hours of Crazy Town. I won't go as deep into this time, for it was just something that I'm not at all proud of. The best way I can explain it is as if my mind was a filing cabinet, and that filing cabinet was thrown at a wall, scattering the files everywhere, leaving me scrambling to reorganize. Everything I could see was covered in the most intense visuals, but none of that mattered because I now knew that this reality was something I created, and it's all in my mind. That's what pushed me into a state of horrid mind loops and trapped in moments of fear for eternity. As I began to calm down, I started hearing ancient music. This wasn't being played from a speaker or anything electronic. It truly was the hum and vibration of existence. This music was a form of ancient chanting and humming similar to chakra unlock music. It gave off the feeling as if it was to be highly respected. At this time, I was worn out and my brain was throbbing from everything that had happened. But soon after the music started, my head stopped throbbing and my mind became very clear. This was immensely helpful because I usually use the come down to reflect on the trip and try to recall everything I had experienced and soak it in all deeper, making it easier to understand and learn from when reflecting. This come down was a little bit different than usual though, because of the clarity and clearing of my throbbing head as well as the music continuing on, but mainly because I still had what I describe as the higher perspective. It's when you can have many perspectives and ways of thinking go through your mind all at once instead of just the one, which usually doesn't happen to me on the come down. This could have been due to the high dose, but being roughly 10 hours after initial dosage, I believe otherwise. I paid closer attention to the perspectives and realized that they were very similar to the feelings I got from the two entities. I truly believe that they were helping me gather myself and give a push forwards with the music and ways of thinking. I spent the next few hours reliving the trip in my mind and using the perspectives and trying to see all the angles of the experience. One idea that kept rubbing off me was that both of the entities were fully aware of this great truth and had discovered it for themselves already and were now trying to get me to become aware of it and break me out of my reality. I sensed their presence as them sitting at a table waiting to join them for a talk. I can say talk, but there was something much different about this one, much more serious. Still can't fully wrap my head around it. So that's it for the trip report, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.